Welcome to Vauxhall. This is Vauxhall Bridge, which is now part way through being built as part of Superhighway 5. This is the entry from the north. As you can see, it's still quite busy even though it's a Sunday. Slightly busy, slightly congested in some directions, although actually the main direction which this is congested is coming into town at the moment. It's a slightly grim reality of London traffic. There's the odd person cycling here, not a lot. It's Sunday, it's not the busiest time. This is peak and rush hour for everyone, really. Now, the worst parts of this junction still haven't yet been dealt with, and aren't dealt with that well in the final design necessarily. But my normal experience of this junction is coming out of that road in front of you and turning right with this traffic. What you used to have to do was come out of that and turn straight into a minor cycle lane. What you now have is a very wide cycle lane. It's actually wider than it will be for one direction, because it's bi-directional. But it's still quite good. But you can see that the delays at this junction are enormous, for all users frankly, in terms of how long there is between phases. So this cycle's here, between green and red, about as long as this broadcast has been going now, and he's still not angry, nor do any of the cars behind him. He has positioned himself slightly awkwardly, but never mind. And that's the sound of a typical London Sunday. Actually, down the road from here, that goes down to single lane for traffic and one lane for bikes. Nice wide lane for bikes, actually 2 metres plus in places. There we go. So, entering this from the south, from the north even, what you do is you come straight across the junction. And in this case, this guy doesn't even realise it's actually open. So he's missed it. The racer behind probably is a bit more sceptical of it. But now they're delaying each other, which is quite entertaining. There isn't much to announce it coming up. If you don't know it's here, the normal line of traffic, given the line of vans back there, means you're very unlikely to actually use the cycle lane unless you've seen it on Twitter or something else, or you've seen someone announcing it. Which is unfortunate, because I'm sure at the moment, people in that set of cars up there are thinking, well, hang on, what's going on? It will change over time. Behaviour will change, what people ride will change, etc. And who rides will change. As usual though, a lot of the people you can see around are recreational. There's a nice little chat going on in the distance. So sorry, this is the north end of Vauxhall Bridge Road, where it meets the embankment. Here's one here making the right turn. She will shortly go quite hard left to actually get into her cycle lane, which is the Superhighway 8, which is mostly paved. In fact, almost entirely paved, I think. I don't think there's any of it segregated. Should get some kind of upgrade at some point after this, but who knows when. Doesn't really seem to have a date for that at the moment, I don't think. It is mostly car traffic right now. So I would love to be here during rush hour, because it's a bit like that. So, here's another cycle going past. One of the things that's very interesting about this design is that they have put, there we are, thanks to most of the bikes, so the only segregated bit will be Queen's Circus on CSA. They've actually put a bypass of this crossing here, and you can see that cyclist there just using it right now. What that means is somebody who cycles east to west on Superhighway 8 can turn straight onto what is then going to be Superhighway 5 and go over Vauxhall Bridge. That makes it very easy. Yes, there are actually a lot of warning signs for everyone at this junction at the moment. There's pedestrians beware of cyclists beware of this red light, etc. Hopefully when it's finished, the design should be more intelligible and more straightforward. There's a bit of a curved lip up to go into the left, and actually you kind of come out of a lane. I think it's almost a shared lane even, so people don't seem to do it that quick even now. But I don't think they're expecting it either. The regular users might know of it. But it's quite good because that stops them being stuck at this red light for 60-70 seconds. Actually means that traffic on that cycle lane is more managed, because it's got to handle all the movements north and south, so it's going to be quite busy. So something like that actually helps a lot in distributing the traffic at the end and avoiding enormous streams causing issues for both cyclists, for pedestrians and for car traffic. You've got to try and distribute these things carefully, even when you segregate, to try and make it all work. Now in the far distance, there's a bit of a family cycling down. Now cycling the way you have to at the moment. You can, in theory, kind of salmon down this bi-directional path, which isn't open to Sapan yet, but they're just cycling down the normal road. There we are, man and his son, just coming down over the junction. Some fast cycling line. There are a lot of coaches in this area. The main coach station for London is about a mile away, and is not that well sighted generally, but is certainly not well sighted compared to some of the infrastructure around it. This starts to make that a little bit more acceptable, but doesn't necessarily fix all of it. There are some quite narrow and winding roads near that coach station which are not ideal for it, but there's also some quite big major roads, and they're kind of encouraged to use those. Here's another cyclist coming in. This one has spotted the new lane. You can see, to be honest, the difference in experience you get from going from shared usage, or shared carriageways, into this lane. You end up quite some distance. You can also see in the distance, you see some pedestrians walking down at the moment. I'll walk over in a little bit and get closer up to them. But there you get the benefit of this cycle lane buffering them from the traffic. On a bridge, you get quite a lot of lanes. It's not pleasant. You see, at this point, here we are, 3 people on hire bikes who've seen the infrastructure, aren't quite sure what's doing. So they're now actually going over the pedestrian crossing. It's a transitional point. It's happened. By the time this is finished, they would actually be cycling down that and coming bi-directional, so they would never have this issue. But it's a Sunday, it's manageable. Quite where they're going to go next is tricky, because obviously if they go down that, then yeah, add on the pavement. Now, in truth, if they were turning right, they were going to have to try and make this turn. Coming around here, not pleasant, not easy. One of the issues with the hire bikes is it looks all good and easy to go and pick up a hire bike. It doesn't necessarily tell you what it's like to go and ride that bike around London. So, the behaviour you might see of a hire bike rider is to an extent wait a minute, oh that's nice. Oh, we've got his reg. God, just shouted at that cyclist for no really apparent reason. Yeah, I'm not sure. So, I don't know if you can tweet the proper plans based on bike, but I can't remember quite what mitigation is. Because the one interesting thing I've noticed is that path going down there is actually two-way. It's not going to go across there, clearly, but you do end up with a bit of coverage. It's some more high bike people, and Mason Bike does business. Good stuff. Here we have a cyclist in the distance about to do the right turn I used to do when using this junction. I don't do it anymore mainly because I've moved. I would still do it otherwise. I don't have that many regular journeys to take me here. But you can see that actually, and he's actually positioned himself in excess of the advanced stop line. And then still, actually, you make use of the cycle lane. It's very pleasant, frankly. It's about a bus lane's width. A bus lane has gone to put this in. TfL themselves acknowledged in putting it in the removal of that bus lane in that location would cause some potential delays. However, things are always more complicated than they seem in the world of traffic. One thing in particular is, at the moment, buses are actually sharing with bikes, and that's the main. They're both close to the curb. Even if they don't have a dedicated lane, they often are most kind of coming close together and into conflict. What that means is there's a good chance that the number of cyclists around are slowing down buses in London. So there will potentially be some gains for buses, even if they don't have their own lane. Quite how it will work out, we will only tell when it's complete. But yeah, the maths is not as straightforward as you might think. There's a dog in the back of that trailer there. He's moving around a bit, but he's happy enough. Or she. What I'll probably do is move on a bit and show you another section of this. I've probably shown as much as I can from here, but what I'll also do is maybe show what it's like to ride, because it is actually safe enough that I'm willing to use my phone for a bit while I'm riding it. So talk to you in a bit.